Astra Militarum are a beloved faction and one of those struggling most in 9th. There is no clear sign of when they'll get their 9th edition codex, so how can they compete? So let's take a look at the tactics and combos that are available to them and how it gives them a chance. Recent GW changes have disallowed soup armies in tournaments, so that means you can only take one regiment in your army. Obviously in local games you can build this however you want. Most people will be choosing Cadians, as if you had to only pick one regiment, it's likely to be that one because it's the strongest. Guard don't really have many invulnerable saves. At best the Lehman Russ gets a 2+ save now, which is nice, but still no invul. Pure infantry builds aren't really practical or viable in 9th. It's worth saying that codex is pretty big and there's lots to learn, and it makes it all more important to pull out the best bits because the faction is struggling. Manticores have been upped by 10 points, no idea why a bottom tier faction is getting nerfed. And primary points for missions going down to 12 points is actually going to hurt the Guard, as with having a lot of OBSEC infantry swarming objectives, they have a good primary game. I mean, who doesn't want to play 40k with one of these? The balanced data slate has helped out. Lehman Russes now get a 2+ save. Tank orders can be given to any nearby vehicles, and units can receive more than one order. There's also a new faction specific secondary for killing stuff, which will work for Guard. Even just for its strat, load, fire, reload for 1 CP, giving it exploding 6s, and for monsters and vehicles you get 2 additional hits. Also scoring a hit means that the unit can't overwatch. You can take Knight Commander Pask, a tank which gives out 2 tank orders per turn, also has a 2+ ballistic skill among other things. And Creed is really worth taking as a HQ, cheap at 60 points, and you can give out 3 orders at a 12-inch range. A lot of the benefits have come from the Cadian Supplement in the Zone Octarius Rising Ride book, and one of the key things is conscripts have been made better so you can actually give them orders. There's a 1 CP strat for Cadia stands, a poor man's transhuman with 1s or 2s to wound fail. Cadians get to reroll hits of 1 if stationary, and for infantry that didn't move and you issue them the order take aim, they can reroll all hits. In general, when you're building your army, you want to plan for multiple layers of threat. You want a gun line and multiple infantry waves. Guard have a great gun line and compete with the best of them. The faction also has powerful indirect fire. Mortar and basilisks are great. Manticores give Tyrannid Hive Guard of them for the money. All are blast, which is great for if you're targeting those hordes. One of the key parts of any list is going to be tank commanders. They just outperform standard Lehman Russes and are probably the best thing in the codex. Hitting on 3s is really strong, and they can give out orders to buff too. As already mentioned, Pass can do this twice. Demolisher cannons are still the best option at the moment for your Lehman Russes, and with grinding advance they can shoot twice, so that's 2d6 at strength 10, AP -3 and d6 damage. They are only 29-inch range with grinding advance, so you're probably not going to build your whole list around them. When you're fitting out the rest of the guns, including sponsors, why not go with flamers? This is going to make a big impact on anyone looking to charge them, and if they get tied up in combat, you're going to clear the units out that are attacking them. To complement your shorter range demolishers, you probably want battle cannon tanks as well. These are going to sit at the back and just dish out damage at 72-inch range. D6 shot, strength 8, -2 AP and D3. Again, if they're Cadians, then you get the Relic Gatekeeper, which is a flat 3 damage instead, and a +1 to wound against chaos. And consider running them with heavy bolters for the extra dice rolls rather than the las cannons. There's a great buffing ability in the army called Tank Aces. It can be used on any non-named character tank. It opens up some great options. You can take a tank ace ability instead of a warlord trait, and you can get a second for 1 CP anyway. You want to take as many of these as you've got tanks really. It opens up some great abilities like Master Mechanic for -1 damage, Weapon Expert for +1 AP on the main gun. You also have Full Payload which changes D3 damage to flat 3. Mainly you'll be using this on your Manticores. There's a slightly different option for your army. Instead of gun and infantry, why not consider Psychers? It's a really good way of efficiently dishing out mortal wounds. So one of the 2 key areas for Guard is the artillery. You want to be taking full payload Manticores. That's giving them flat 3 damage instead of D3. Consider taking at least 2 of these. They are probably the best out of line of sight shooting in the game because they can outrange everything including Hive Guard. You only get 4 turns of shooting, but it's going to be enough. Basilisks are again another great out of line of sight shooting option. And with the aerial spotter strat for 2 CP, you'll be rerolling all hits, which makes a big difference. Heavy mortars is another great cheap option for indirect fire. With a blob of 3 units of mortars, each with 3 models, and a platoon commander, you can issue take aim once, and you get reroll hits of 1 for all 9 mortars. And the other main side of Guard is the infantry. They've got tons of OBSEC troops which will dominate the objective game, and while they won't be killing a lot, they will be scoring a lot of points. Big blobs of infantry aren't that susceptible to morale, and while individual models may die easily, it's not always the case the opponent will have enough attacks to kill an entire squad. Lasgood spam is still a thing. Sheer weight of dice will take down enemies and give them something to think about in Overwatch. I mean, if you're playing Guard, you need to learn your orders. Some really cool ways of buffing like take aim for reroll hits of 1, bring it down gives reroll 1s to wound. Some cool other buffs like forward for the Emperor, shoot after advancing, get back in the fight, allows you to fall back and shoot, move. You can move and advance again instead of shooting which gives them an absolutely massive range across the board. Fixed bayonets allows you to fight immediately when ordered. So with all these options, you're really going to be able to swarm the board, grab the objective, and be doing some secondaries as well. If you're looking for infantry with a little more poke, then why not consider Scions? They've got native deep strike, hit on 3s, not 4s. They've got better saves at 4s, not 5s. And more importantly, they have more weapon options. They're about 1.5 points more expensive per model over standard infantry, but you want them to be taking plasma or melter guns, and that's 10 points each per model. So taking them in squads of 5 with 2 special guns is only 65 points, so it's only 10 points more than a squad of 10. Mix in with this the elite Scions in the command squad. There's 4 models, all with melters or plasmas, for 80 points. You will find these will do a lot of work. A quick comment on some other vehicles. Scout Sentinels, only 35 points. Multi-lasers aren't much good, but their pre-game move can be quite cool for screening. Not an essential unit though, but why not try them out? Thorax Primes. If you're building a Scions list, then these guys are a must-take. They're manoeuvrable and can screen, but importantly, if you load them out with a Gatling cannon, which is 20 shots, and your hotshot volley guns, you've got quite a lot of firepower coming out of a 120-point model. Valkyries if you want your flying option. Taking the heavy bolter and las cannon variant is probably going to be the best option, but it is going to put it at 150 points. Not massively durable, as you want them to be in hover mode so they can be hitting on 3 ballistic skill. They'll then have lost the -1 to hit for being airborne, so you have to rely on 3+ save only. One nice option is they can disembark troops on their journey anywhere with the flying. Once again, a good way to make your guard really manoeuvrable. Some extra key strats you're going to be playing all the time. You've got shock troops for 1 or 2 CP. You're treated as if you remain stationary. You get +1 AP at half range. Load, fire, reload for 1 CP. Already mentioned, 6s to explode. And against vehicle monsters, it's 2 extra hits. It also stops that unit from overwatching. This is going to be absolutely key. And overlapping fields of fire for 2 CP. When you wound an enemy, you then can get +1 to hit for anyone else who shoots at them. Such a great faction and such a shame that it looks like the Space Marines are going to get another codex before Guard even get their 9th. I hope you found this useful and boot the like button as it really helps the video spread. And if you want to support the channel even more, why not consider becoming a member for all the extra perks and join us in Discord. See you again soon. Bye.